Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to my channel. This is Sibyl Harmony, and I am delighted to have Dr. Vicky on, an astrologer, who's going to give us the 411 on what's happening now and in maybe in our near future. And I'm going to put her information for her channel. If you would text it to me, Dr. Vicky, afterwards, on how to, so you can join her channel, subscribe to her channel. But I saw her on some other shows. I'm like, I got to get this lady on. She's amazing. And so here we are, special treat to have Dr. Vicky. And would you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Sure, absolutely. A lot of people ask me, what kind of doctor are you? I was a licensed chiropractor for, I don't know, a long time. I hate to say it because then I show my age. Since the late 80s. And so I had a practice here in Massachusetts. And I also, as soon as I finished school, I started delving into metaphysics and things that I was interested in, because when you're in school, you can't really, you
Okay.
know, um, you're studying anatomy and physiology and chemistry, and there's not a lot of room for fun stuff. So as soon as I got out and got my license, I started studying metaphysics, astrology, and then in 1999, I started studying Kabbalah with my teacher, Linda Ward. And my life hasn't been the same ever since. And now I'm 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 retired from chiropractic, and I do this.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to move in because I want us to be matching the same
I think.
size. I'm way back there and you're way up here. I like it to be geometrically
I
feng shui
understand. I'm a
correct.
chiropractor. I understand all about
Okay.
running things even.
Yeah. So we have some, I've been looking at this and I was just talking to you before the show and I want to hear what your astrological. I love astrology. I've actually started doing some astrology reading myself. I have a chart and I do check in because I get so much from it. Um, but I we were talking before the show and I was saying that I had a dream years ago. And then I was guided to start watching the news because I felt like I was watching history happen. Because most people are like, why are you watching politics? And I was trained in my spiritual training, you never bring up politics. And now I do. So the energy has changed. But I had this dream that we had a world, but this is more like the whole world came together. And it's about like in about 750 or 800 years from now. I actually have a date. I think it was that I put it was, and I counted it was 824 years. That was about 25 years ago. So probably be 800 years from now. And my guides were showing me that we were all one people. There was no money, that the planet was green, and that some people lived high up and some people lived low down, but all the houses were built into the earth. And everybody was really ethical and they were really proud of who they were. And there are very strong boundaries about how we do this here on earth. And they were just, I was in this hall and they were just celebrating, and they were celebrating this guy who was a leader. And I guess, I love men, not the out of balance male energy we've been in, but this guy that was up on his picture was up on the wall was actually a person I know in this life that
Oh,
was kind of a guy who uh, scammed me out of some money that I invested in years ago, and I ended up getting my money back. But I was anyway. It's a long story of something I needed to learn about karma, and before I started doing this work, and so anyway, I was like, "Why is he up there?" And the lady was like, "Him, him." He's our leader that brought us to the. And so what I realized is that a lot of, even those souls that are lost now or acting out or whatever, can evolve over time, and that we shouldn't judge a book by its cover because you never know who you're really dealing with. And this guy had a lot of qualities of being very brave and kind of a leader, even though he was crooked back then. And I saw that over these lifetimes he had redeemed himself and became this person that helped us. And we kind of had like these earth colored, the guys had like these earth colored, like almost like uniforms. Like some of them looked like warriors, and the women were dressed in very beautiful clothing. They might have been female warriors too, I don't know. But it was just, it was like a different earth. And it felt like it was in somewhere in Europe.
Oh,
But people
okay.
want to know, people don't want to know about what's going to happen in 800 years. We want to know about America, like what's going to happen next week or in the midterms or maybe even today, so that doesn't really, so okay. So I'm like, so then that's like a perfect world. I think most of us would be happy if we could just get our, although it had lots of problems, our democracy back. And then we were kind of like a work in progress. We're kind of like, okay, we've done a lot of awful things in this country, but we're, with the civil rights and women's rights and I mean, up until the 70s, a woman couldn't even have a credit card or own her own home. I mean, look at how far we've come. And so I remember being out in the streets and protesting in the 60s when I was younger against the war and whatever. We were just like, yeah, power to the people and all that. I remember that. And then I feel like whoever this is came in and goes, we need to stop all this. And they have the long plan in, and they're like, now we're seeing not only what the current, uh, I don't know what we should call him in the White House, but all
Uh,
the people who are supporting him are doing with this Project 2025 and all that, and what's happening now in our country. And so I felt like I was telling you, I felt like with the EP thing, I don't even like to say the full name of that.
right.
Um, I get messages from nature, and I got a big message from vultures right before I got COVID. I got severe COVID. So vultures don't usually come around me unless there's a big reason, because they're protectors and they stay far up in the sky. But I walked up in this hill and there were two of them, and they were sitting, they don't usually sit on the ground and looking right at me like, yeah, like we're here, something's about to happen. And then this broke. And so I thought, okay, this is going to be the end. So you were saying you think that it is the beginning of the end or something, or you tell me. I'm going to let you talk now and do the reading.
Okay, so
Because you can't shut me up if once I get started.
I'm happy to hear that in 800 years men will be evolved. So that's good. That's good. Um, so yeah, so I think one of the things that, and I said this to you before we began, is that we can't really judge the future on the past anymore because the past is falling away, and nobody wants that. Nobody I know, except for a few, I don't know, crazy people in Project 2025. I mean, it seems like they know, and when I say they, I mean the people who have held the power for probably 6,000 years now, since since Adam and Eve were in the garden. Lilith got kicked out because she wouldn't lay beneath Adam, and they put Eve in. And since I guess the fall of man, and the fall of man is that we fell away, in my perspective anyways, that we fell away from our connection to our own higher self. We
Mm,
forgot that we were spirits. And I have noticed in my lifetime, which is not that long. I mean, I was born in 1961, so it hasn't been that long, but in my lifetime I've seen the reawakening of that. And we have a lot of people to thank for that, including all of us starseeds who came down here. Um, and we were like, what the heck is this place? And why are everybody so mean? And I don't understand, right? And so the empaths or the sensitives, and I know that you were one of those, even though I just met you. Um, but yeah, so we've gotten very far. We really have evolved, and this is a glitch. This is just like are you sure you want to let this go kind of thing? And I feel like that's what it is. And I think ultimately, it's interesting you bring up the person that was being revered was somebody in your experience who you're like, why this guy? That could happen with DJT, right? At like in 500 years, he could be the avatar because he broke the spell. And in a
Oh,
way, he has broke the spell, right? And now the question is, well, what do we do? Like, I know how I was raised. I know the structures that held me sort of in and down and oppressed me that I've had to free myself from through most of my life. And but I feel like that, especially with the technology being just, we don't even have any idea what technology is going to really do for us. It could really, it could completely open the door for us. But, and I think it will. I think with anything, if you have a pure enough intention, um, the beginning and the end are the same, right? If you have an evil intention, you're going to go. That's why DJT is going to go. Because he himself is not, him as a personality, I believe, is not aware necessarily of maybe his, or maybe he is aware of his place in the new sort of world order that we're finding ourselves breaking into. But there are a lot of cycles, astrological cycles, that are going on where we're, all the things that we learned to depend upon are falling away. All those things are holding us back. They're holding us in our lower self. So when these things fall away, who do we have, who can we depend upon? We can depend upon our core, we can depend upon our heart, we can depend upon our connection to source. And the more that we open up to that, we'll realize that we're all connected and we all are one and we can live in harmony. I mean, that's how I see it. It's just that we're in the throes of everything falling away, and it's really scary for people.
yeah,
It's the devil you know compared to the devil that you don't know, but maybe it's not a devil on the other side.
yeah. I just did a video this morning, a live video where I did some healing and talking about how August is just going to be chaotic and really fast moving, and that how it's important to stay really grounded and to remember our energy field, that we don't have to, our main energy field of about 2 or 3 feet, that even goes out 25 feet around, that we don't have to be in that panicked, rushed energy, and that we can breathe and observe, and so that we don't become a reaction to it, that we learn how to ground ourselves and kind of respond to life rather than become just getting washed away in the flood of. I mean, I had this dream the other night where I was being dunked. You know those things at the fair where people, someone would throw something and the
Yeah,
person that it was just going
dunked him.
dunk, dunk. I'm like, I'm being traumatized here, and people are like, I can't even get air, and it's like the next thing, the next thing. Like if you're watching the news, it's traumatic, and it's designed that way
Right.
to. And so
Flooding the zone, as it were.
yeah, so I'm saying, no, uh-uh, yeah,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, I think it's important to watch the process,
hmm
but if you get caught up in it, you will hurt yourself or you will
yeah.
be
So
hurt
you
by it.
observe, kind of like step back, and to me, I go into silence or meditation, or I come up here in this chakra, where I'm just kind of observing myself, like, look at this person, Sibyl, and the life she's having, and how is she doing, and how can I support her? Because sometimes you don't have somebody there, a psychic or a therapist or whatever, there, an astrologer guiding you, and every day is a new thing. It's like you don't. But so if we can kind of observe ourselves where we are and what we're going through. But that's why I love astrology. So I want you to tell me about more about what you're seeing, or what do you know sorry, we have dogs in the other room. I have a tenant with puppies, and they're
I can't hear it.
good.
I don't know if
They
anybody
made a
else
big. I
can.
have my dog down here on the floor.
Could you just be my ears? We have there's a bike race, a famous bike race that goes past our house,
Okay.
and and there's little kids across the street. I swear to God, they're half dolphin. They're screaming at decibels I didn't think were possible
So
for the human voice, but
I was doing this reading for these two ladies. They were therapists. They came to me, and I believe in, like, you see the ancient Egyptian, like, where they're part animal and part
mm-hmm,
human. So anyway, but it's funny how souls evolved, and that would be a whole different reading. But these two ladies came to me, and they were therapists, and they were had bodies shaped like dolphins don't really have a waist. And
right.
they just kind of look dolphiny, but they were going, and they were doing it together, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I pulled the cards for them, and the cards came up dolphin. I'm like, you guys are dolphins. They were like, and they just thought everything was hysterical. They were just going around playing and doing all these fun things. So they decided to come get a reading. And I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, I got off the track a little bit. We need to remember this is summer and to have fun. Even though all this crazy stuff is happening, there's a lot of really good things that are happening, right?
Yes,
In the
yes.
astrology. Like, I've had amazing breakthroughs. It's a time for a lot of growth. And should we look at what's happening like now with this guy? What do we call him? The orange one? I don't know what to
Well,
call him. I don't like to say his name.
right. Well, we could say GJT, right?
Okay,
That's
GGT. I don't like to
that's
say
just
the name because I believe it calls the spirit energy to me, and I don't want to be that connected to him saying his name all the time. Because
right.
in the spirituality I'm trained in, the names that you call to are hugely significant. So I don't want to keep saying, okay, so DJT, everyone has a different name for him, but it's not that
Oh,
I
I have some names, but I don't think I'm allowed to say them.
okay. Well, it's not. I don't like call. I don't want to be reduced to name calling in in what kindergarten.
Yeah,
You're
I
really
agree. Yeah, yeah,
stupid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
So,
so
but
as far as he's concerned, there's been he has a very interesting natal chart, and
oh,
his primary energy is Uranian. It's he has his North Node and his Sun and Uranus all in a conjunction in the 10th house, in his 10th house. The 10th house in a person's chart is is leadership, and or being the boss, so to speak. And Uranus is an energy of breaking through and breaking out, but it's also an energy of chaos. And so the one thing that he's best at is chaos. And then we have to consider that this is a likely, and I don't know if I would call myself an expert, but likely a young soul.
oh,
Whereas somebody like his buddy, his old buddy he used to hang out with in the 80s and 90s, without mentioning a
oh,
name, that he is not a young soul. He's an old soul.
ooh,
And he has a lot of
on the dark
he
side.
has a lot of master he's dark. He's got a lot of master numbers in his
Oh,
chart.
shoot.
Trump has no master numbers. So and even Maxwell also has master numbers, as does JD Vance. So I don't really
Oh,
like, yeah, I know. I don't really like I liked, I liked a version of him when I agreed with him, but now it's
a
like
version of who? The
JD.
GJT.
JD. What would JD do? Right? That's what my husband and I say. What would Jesus do?
Oh,
WWJD. So I'm like WWJJD. What would JD do? Probably just, go, because he's a very smart. He's got high vibrational numbers,
wait,
but
who is?
Vance, the vice president.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm
I thought you were gonna
coding.
say,
I'm doing code and so nobody knows what I'm talking about.
okay.
Um, so he has a lot of potential, but he doesn't he I think he's so wounded. I think he's such a wounded. But
Mm.
we'll see what happens with him. I mean,
But
he's
people don't
obviously
like him because of the money, because he's just not, for some reason, people just don't like him. Um, I
because he says one thing and then whoever he's whoever he's with, he agrees with them wholeheartedly, goes, balls to the wall, as we say in Jersey. And it's like, well, what do you really stand for? What do you really stand for?
Oh,
You
okay,
see what I'm saying?
yeah, I
He's
just think
not
it's so weird that he has eyeliner and he was known as being gay or something, and then he's like, they're like all like against gay people or something, and then they're they're
well,
getting
that's what
rid,
I mean.
they're getting rid of, and they're like supporting like white men, but then he has a mixed family and
Right.
an Indian wife, so I'm like,
If there was a word to describe him, I would say incongruous. He's incongruent.
okay.
That's what I would call him.
Does he look like in his chart that he will ever become president
Oh
for his
yeah, I
life?
think so.
When? When does it looking like
When,
that?
well, when exactly? Well, this is um
I mean,
so
where's the possibility? I know that astrology can't tell you when something like when Obama had something about healthcare in his chart, people were saying, "Oh, he might have an illness," and then he did healthcare. I mean, so
right,
so
right.
it's not
There are a lot of different ways to interpret.
right.
Um
So are there any
and
little window openings in JD's chart that are showing like, he might?
well, what I'd say about that is Uranus, right, which is the energy of Trump. Okay, Uranus moved into Gemini on July 7th, 7/7, the 7/7 portal, right? It
Mhm.
went in, and that was the day that Bondi said, "There's nothing here, there's no here, or there, or whatever the hell they say. Nothing burger. Like there's no file, there's no names, there's none of that." Right? That was a shocking revelation. Uranus and Gemini, right? All of a sudden they were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Gemini is duality.
Mhm.
Gemini is like black, it's like two sides of the same coin. So they're like, it's Epstein, 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 Epstein. Sorry, I shouldn't probably say that a lot, but E. And then they're like, no, nothing to see here. And then so all the people that they got to gather and back him up on that basis,
Yeah.
they just shut the lights off on them. And that's likely the thing. That's likely the reason um he's gonna certainly fall in popularity. Not that he was
Yeah.
ever popular, but I grew up in New Jersey and New York. So I knew who this Mama Luke was back in the 80s and never liked him, right? When he became president, I'm like, are people nuts? Don't they understand who this guy is? But they had the apprentice thing, and everybody thought he was a great business person. The only thing he was ever really good at was going bankrupt. And what's he doing to this country? He's bankrupting the United States and selling it off to who knows who's going to buy his stupid coins, right? So this is the guy that's supposed to save America. One of the things that I want to say about that is that part of the old paradigm is that we have a savior. The new paradigm is that we're saving ourselves, right? So we don't need a savior. That's an old paradigm. And the whole idea of victim, victimizer, being a martyr, all of that stuff is the Piscean age. We're in
Oh,
the Aquarian age now. We're more in the Aquarian age because we're more aware of it. The ages, I think the Aquarian age probably started somewhere in the 1700s when democracy became a thing again,
oh,
because it was
okay,
originally right in ancient
okay,
Greece.
okay.
And now with Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto is power and Aquarius is humanity. And
Oh,
so we have an opportunity to become empowered humanity. But the way we have the way that we have to do that is by focusing. Pluto in a chart evolves through its opposite sign. So if it's in Aquarius now, it evolves through Leo, and Leo is the sign that rules the heart. And so we need to be heart centered. And if you've done any research on it's called a heart math. I don't know if you've probably heard of heart math. They have an organization here in Massachusetts.
I do a lot of heart opening work.
Right, they have this a toroid field, it's like a giant, donut field around us as whose focus is the heart. And our heart field is the most powerful. Most people think it's the mind, but the mind is like a tuner that just, it just pulls in information from higher sources. That's why meditation helps to sort of open up the channels. And of course, somebody like yourself was born with an open channel. So, you've been hearing this stuff and seeing things probably for years, and finally other people are seeing it, I think, and
Yeah,
experiencing it. So
yeah.
the more that we open up to the possibility of creating our own reality, the more we're going to create our own reality. We don't need somebody to tell us what's best for us.
Okay, so we don't need a church to give us the
No.
rules of, so we won't be a sinner.
Yeah, that's all power over, right?
Okay. But we do, because I was thinking, my guys have been saying, like, giving me messages about we don't have a leader, but is it more like Aquarius is more like there can be heart-centered leaders, but it's more about the movement or the group or the energy? Because there always has to be somebody, right? Who's, does there?
Well, I would say,
We seem like we're a bunch of herd of cats right now. The Democrats, there's nobody really. I mean, there's kind of Gavin Newsom's out there a little bit.
well, I think
Some
there's a
people
lot
say,
of,
"Oh, she's back to heal us," and I'm like, that's not what I don't think she wants to. Right now, she doesn't want to get back in politics.
would you if you were her?
No,
After what she was put through?
no, and I think her daughter almost killed herself, and I don't think her husband wants her to. I think she might do something, but I don't think she's made up her mind. And I don't think she's coming. There's nobody coming to the rescue. Like, where is our person for people to get
We
behind?
are the people we've been waiting
We
for.
are.
We can't, what, I mean, she did her best. I
I
have to
know. I
say,
know.
she did her best.
She's
And
brilliant.
if she wants to step back, I give her all the credit in the world for that. That's a brave thing to do because a lot of times, especially with women, we do what's expected of us. And that was unexpected. And I think it's good. I think it's good. And I think that we have to, there's going to be, there are going to be fighters out there. We have people like Jasmine Crockett. We have people like um, Matt Frost down in Florida. We have Murphy in Connecticut. There's a lot of really good AOC, right? There's plenty of people, but just like the I think the time we're in is the people who hold the power don't want to let it go. The Nancy Pelosi's and the Chuck Schumers. I mean, I watch Chuck Schumer and I'm like, we're doomed. It's not. I don't have a. I don't. He seems like a
Yeah.
nice enough guy, but he is not he's not the person that we need right now.
Yeah.
We
And then
need
when they
somebody.
finally are standing up and doing a little something, it's like, God, where were you like 5 years ago? But okay. Yeah, but
But
still,
we can't do that either, right? We can't say, well, where were you five? You have to be in the moment that you're in. The
okay.
past is gone.
Yeah.
The past is gone. We have an opportunity, a future that we can create. And there's astrological things that are happening right now. One of the things that's happening is Saturn and Neptune are in a conjunction to each other. That means they're right next to each other, right?
Okay.
And it's in Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. But it's actually the relationship that they're in actually began back in 1989 when they made a conjunction in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is the rules. Capricorn is the boss. Capricorn is the president. Capricorn is the Pope. Well, anybody who's authority in a large organization, that's Capricorn. Neptune is dissolving away. Saturn is structure and Neptune is dissolving away. They're at the end of their cycle. So the energy is to dissolve away everything that was built that no longer serves us from that last cycle. It's going to start again in February 20th of 2026. We're going to have a conjunction of those two planets in the first degree of Aries, the first degree, it's the start of the zodiac, and it is the I am. In fact, the Sabian symbol for that is a woman coming out of the sea being embraced by a seal, right? It's the emergence of a new consciousness. And so that consciousness that's emerging come 2026, just like any child, needs to be nurtured. And Aries is the I am. So we have to figure out who the hell we are and what it is that we want as individuals and working collectively. So there will be leaders. There will be there are people who are natural leaders, right? They have a natural propensity to lead, and there are other people who want to stay in the background and just do the work, right? So we have to, and that's the benefit of getting a chart reading or something like that, because you'll have a better sense of who you are. Maybe you already know who you are, but you need somebody to reflect that back to you, right? So it really is about what we do within our own selves that's going to matter.
Okay,
And
that's also,
the leaders will lead, and we will, but they have to be authentic. The word of the word of the millennium maybe is authenticity. You can't pretend to be somebody you're not. And that was one of the gifts that Kamala gave us when she went on um, uh, Colbert. She was being herself. She was being, I think, sort of nakedly, she showed us. Like when I watched her, I cried. I
oh,
felt her
good.
pain. I was, my husband's like, let's not, while you're getting upset, because I'm a Cancer, so I'm crying all the time anyway. And I was like, no, I want to feel this. I want to feel through this. I have to feel through this. I have to see what it feels like when I hear her voice.
So she is
And
here healing us.
hmm,
She is here healing us in that way.
yes,
Oh, okay.
she's a true leader shows by example, right? That's what Jesus said.
Yeah.
Jesus says it's not what you say, it's what you do. Actually, I don't know if he said that or my mother said that, but somebody said that, and I think it's true.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So, but there are astrological things happening, definitely. Now, the United States as a country went through its Pluto return, then it had its Chiron return, and now we're going to have a Uranus return. Every time
What does that mean?
uh, every 84 years Uranus comes back to the point that it was at the birth of the nation. The first time we had a Uranus return was 1860. The second time we had a Uranus return was around 1944. And we're going to have another Uranus return 2028. Every time we've been with Uranus and Gemini, we've been in a war of sort. And we're on the verge of a war.
We're on the
That's something,
verge, or we're in one now.
well, it's
In
a
America, you mean in America, not
no, I mean, we have to look at what's going on in Israel and Gaza and
okay.
what we're doing there and what's going on in Europe, right? We're part and parcel to that. We may say we're not helping anybody anymore, but we are helping some, and we're trying to, but I think it was important for America to let go of all that stuff anyway. Not the way they did it. It was ridiculous, but we're too young to be in charge. We're only 250 years old, right? I don't think, and we're not together. We're not cohesive. If in order to have a democracy, you have to have two sides that agree on the facts. We don't agree on the facts, right? Because we have this smoke and mirrors Republican BS. And they've been doing that for 40 years.
When
Go ahead. I'm
when
sorry.
is that? When are we gonna get more cohesive? Is this ever, we're gonna have a war, and you're saying in 2028 or?
I'm just saying that every time Uranus has been in Gemini, we've been in some sort of war.
Okay.
Now, maybe we don't do it this time, but
We don't do what?
the war thing,
Okay.
or maybe this is it, right? Or maybe it's a war within ourselves. But we have to uh anytime one of the other things about war, as I understand it, is that anytime we have an expansion of information, and maybe that's what that's about, right? The people get scared and they don't want to lose what they have, and so they fight, right? What, like, you see a bigger world, it happened, that if you look at history, it's like when the books came, when they printed the book, when they did the telegraph, when they did, like, all those, and now we have the internet, right? We have now, how long has the internet been with us? Maybe 30 years. That's another cycle that we're in. 1993, we had a conjunction of the planets that are furthest out. There's a lot of cycles coming to uh points within their cycle where we are making decisions, where we're going in a direction, but it's up to us. This is our world, right? I don't know. And the kids, they ain't listening to us, and I don't blame them, because this is where we brought them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some family members of mine that were mega, or some of them were kind of, now they're saying, yeah, I was kind of on the fence.
Oh, that's good.
But they're like, my grandson's going like, America first, Trump, yay, football. I'm like, oh God, this was a couple years ago. But I've been telling him, saying, well, he's not doing this right. And he did that. And he's like, no, he's not. I don't think so. I think he's pretty okay. And, I do think some of the things but then when this Epstein thing happened, he's like, oh, I never really liked him much anyway. I'm like, okay.
That's funny. If you don't mind me asking, what year was your grandson born?
2007. He's a Gemini with a Leo rising.
Oh, Gemini. Well, he's going to change his mind back and forth his whole life, so that's okay. But I had a nephew who I found out was a big Bernie fan. And I was so
He
excited
was
because
a
I
Bernie
loved
fan
him,
too. So was I. I'm a Bernie
right?
bro.
Yeah, me too. I guess cis bro cis. Anyway, um, and then the next time I talked to him, which wasn't that long, it was like maybe a year or two later, then he liked Trump. And I was like, what? How could you
Yeah,
go from Bernie to Trump? I didn't
yeah.
understand it.
That's what I was like. I'm
Then
like,
then a year later, I was like, so you still like Trump? Nah, he's a jerk. So they change their mind like they change their underwear.
well, I think it's kind of like who their friends like too. And now everybody's saying bad stuff about, because the Epstein stuff. But because I told you, I walked up on the hill and I saw the vultures, and I'm like, ooh, this is like the beginning of the end. So when is this guy? That's what people ask me, like, when is he going to get out of there? And I know you answered that question already when we're done, because I said that Kamala will win unless we haven't learned yet, unless we're not awake enough yet, then she won't. But that's what I said. And then everybody was saying, oh no, she's going to win. And I guess it was too awful to think that she wouldn't.
Well,
So
the I pulled cards on it too, and the cards were very positive, and there were a lot of
I think she won, but they took it.
right. Well, that's the thing, and I don't know about you, but when that happened, I I felt something. So when Trump won the first time, right before I had a dream that he was going to win,
Oh,
and 2 days before he won, right? So, but and I had a dream of 9/11 2 weeks before it happened, but that's
okay.
that's another story. I that's my dreams. I'll have, like, I'll wake up, I'll go, oh shit, that's important, right? Um, but in 2016, there was something, I felt a weird thing happening. And it was before I had the dream, but it was just like things just seemed really weird to me. And I had that same experience in 20 this last one. Like it felt weird. And then I remember thinking, my first thought was they effed us over again. And I felt like it was the media who had been, like, I felt like I was being led around like with a carrot and a stick.
Yeah.
And like, and so it's like you're building, it's like they feed off your energy. And I've said,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not, you know, I'm not going to allow them to feed off my energy. I'm going to, if I have energy, I'm going to use it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's, and maybe that's what a DJT is trying to teach us, that we have to put our energy in ourselves, which sounds, kind of snotty, but perhaps, he certainly has been able to manifest what he wanted to manifest. It's hell for the rest of us, but why can't we use the same trick? Why can't we completely focus on the world that we want to see?
Right, yeah. And yeah, the media does do that. And I kept thinking, like, I kept looking at them and going, yeah, you're gonna get your tax break and it's gonna be business friendly. But I don't think you understand what's about to happen here.
Oh,
Is that
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
gonna have your business. Like people are like, we don't want boys and women's sports. I'm like, you're not gonna have sports. They don't even want you to have a school. So I think that's like a minor issue that couldn't we work that out some other way rather than electing that person? Or, I don't want to get into that.
Well, again, people are looking for a savior,
Yeah, okay.
and that's
Yeah,
the old way.
yeah,
We have to be, in order to be in order to be responsibility, or freedom, actually I should say, freedom comes with responsibility.
yeah.
If you're 100% responsible, and you understand that your life, you're 100% responsible for your life, then you're free, because then you're not blaming other people for your problems. Now
Right.
everybody has problems, but what are you going to do to solve the problem?
Well, I think that's part of like why like growing up spiritually, like if you're a young soul, you need to be in church because you need someone to tell you what to do. And as you grow up more spiritually, then it's like that doesn't then and that's what I teach people about being empowered. But just about what you were saying before, like right after the election in 2016, I didn't understand politics that well then. I understand a lot more now. I understand about energy and
Right,
past
right.
lives and chakras and things, but I'm not really a political expert. I understand a lot more, but I didn't know why. I cried for 24 hours and I was feeling the pain of what was about to happen. And then my guide said to me, he'll be impeached. And I didn't know enough to ask, but will he be convicted?
Right, right.
So that was just like, I was just like, oh, okay, okay, he'll be impeached. Okay, thanks. That was good enough then. And maybe it wasn't decided whether he would be convicted because I don't believe everything's written out in a script. I believe we're creating it as we go. And I sometimes people want me to read them the script. Some things are written in stone or energies are more prominent, like this, it looks like that's going to happen or this. But I don't believe it's all a script that's written out, that I just need to find the script and read it. So, although some things are written in stone, but right before '08, I was getting that. I had a dream to sell my stocks and pay off my house. I would have lost my house. And I was driving down the street and my guides were saying it's not sustainable. And I'm like, what? And I was looking at people's houses and I'm like, something's about to happen. And then before that big tsunami that happened in Japan, or the the
The earthquake and tsunami,
no, there
or
was something,
no,
there
the
was
other,
Indonesian
2004.
Indonesian tsunami.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right before that,
2004.
I was teaching a class then, and a lot of the students were just like, and I just felt it too. We just feel like crying. We feel like something bad, like it's just, I don't know what's about to happen. And then we turned on the news and there was that big tsunami. So a
Yeah.
lot of times I will feel it or I'll get a ringing in my ear. Um, but anyway, with this, you're with this now, I think, it's hard to tell from moment to moment. Like I was watching him walk. I do watch the news because I'm reading on it. I don't like to hear the sound of his voice, but sometimes I just have to turn it off. I'm like, I can't anymore. But I saw him walking away from the podium and he kind of went like, it's like his body just jerked like that. I'm like,
Oh, he's definitely physically diminished. He's definitely, I think he has congestive heart failure. I
okay, how
think
does his health chart look? But what does it look like for August or September or this year? What does his health look like?
well, I actually, I quite frankly, I don't spend a lot of time looking at his chart. but I will
Oh,
tell you from the perspective of a doctor,
okay.
you know, the I think he's got congestive heart failure. He definitely is having memory issues, probably in dementia of some sort. He's not physically, you know, he's going to build this wing on the White House. He's not going to
Took
live
away
to,
people's health care.
he's not
It's
going to,
just, it's
well, you know,
insane.
that they did it so that you're not going to see it until right before the uh the midterms, right? They
And
pushed
we're not
everything.
wishing for anybody to get sick or die or anything. We're just looking at the energy. So
Well, you know, that's something else. I mean, that it is true. I mean, the only thing he got done in the first term was taxes for the rich, right?
mhm.
And the only thing he's going to get done in this term is taxes for the rich.
And
Everything else,
deporting people,
well, yeah, creating a
creating pain and suffering.
what they're doing is they're creating the United States. Do you remember that movie Escape to New York back in, I think it was the 80s? It was about New York City was a giant prison. Kurt Russell was in it. I think that's who the guy that was in it.
Uh-huh.
And that's what they're trying. I feel like America's like one giant. They're trying to create one. They're putting all the money in the boundaries and the prisons. For what?
Yeah, there's a
I
big
thought we were
focus
with
on
home of the free and land of the brave. What?
but to me it doesn't sound like he wants to leave. He's gonna build a big fancy ballroom.
Yeah, because
Like
he's
he's never
crazy.
leaving.
Because he wants every place he lives, he wants to dip it in gold and have it be Mar-a-Lago. So if you're looking for any important papers in the White House, look in the bathrooms because that's where they'll keep them.
Yeah.
It's just it's a farce. You know what it is? It's a freaking farce. And my question is why are we even paying attention to this? Why are we even putting any credence into this? Because this is not my reality. It's kind of
Yeah.
sounds like he has his own reality, he's creating it. I'm not part and
Yeah.
parcel to that. I don't want to put my energy in that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, and we'll see how that goes. I may have to. I may also be delusional as well. But I certainly like my delusion way better than his.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I do. I refuse to live my life in stress or joy or agony. I some things I can't watch on the news, and I'm not going to let them take my joy or my peace or my harmony. I stay connected and aligned, and I am living my life.
That's right. That's what Kamala said. Don't let them take your joy.
Okay.
Right? She gave us, if you listen to her concession speech,
Uh-huh.
which wasn't much of a concession speech, she gave us our marching orders. She's a very evolved soul. Kamala is a very evolved soul. She actually has a six-pointed star, Merkaba, in her chart. And so did Barack Obama. It's a powerful thing to have in your chart.
Oh,
Um, and she's very much, it's interesting because, I do numerology and Kabbalah and astrology. And her shadow, which is her wounded place, is the same as the shadow of the United States. So as she heals her shadow, she heals the country.
oh, she is healing us. Okay. Because when I looked at her, I saw that I can tell where her soul comes from a lot of times. And she looks like she's from the planet Lyran. And I know
That would make sense.
probably a little bit out there for most people, but if you, I mean, like, where did your soul, you just popped into your meat suit and then you die? I mean, your soul came from somewhere. But at Lyran, the story is that their planet was taken over by some other type of beings that wanted to take it over and they lost their war. They're also very connected to birds and cats, and they have a big energy here about um, race, about teaching not racism. So somehow that's a big part of their story. So she comes in as a mixed race woman, and she's very powerful. And I can feel her, I could see her power and her energy and her desire to really want to make the world a better place. And I think that she struggled a little bit with big money and now she's not connected to big money, and that's probably good. That's so she's more herself. But I feel like she was pressured. And Obama too got pressured to not really do that much by these big behind the scenes powers. Like, if you do that, we're not going to let you, or so, I feel like there's a lot of dark things happening that we're not seeing that are hopefully getting exposed in this age of Aquarius. But that's how
Well, I think a lot of those dark things are getting exposed right now.
right. Okay. Yeah. 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 So amazing. And since I didn't know you did numerology.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm going to get a reading from you. I can't wait. I get first dibs. Don't anybody book before I do.
You'll get a special spot because,
Okay. All right. Go ahead and
you're a
book.
fellow traveler on YouTube.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you about the 8-8. Are we getting, is there an 8-8-8 this year, or is that only a year where the number at
It's an 889 this year, but we had the 88888,
that
the
was a couple
three
of years
eights
ago,
last year.
last year. Okay. So is
Last year was
that
the
a
four.
portal opening? Because I think,
Well, it's the Lionsgate. There's always a Lionsgate portal, the 88.
okay.
It starts, I think, it actually, I think, started on the 30th of July, and Kamala came in on the 31st.
Okay.
And I feel like when she was on Colbert, right? I feel like she reemerged, and
That was a 7-7. If you add up all the dates, that was a 7-7, a very auspicious number on
what's
the
that?
31st.
Oh, the 31st?
Yeah. Yeah.
July 31st. Oh, I can't do math. Okay, hold
Yeah.
on.
It's a 7-7.
July 31st.
If you add up all the numbers, right?
2000, what is it? 2000, so it's a 9, it's a 47. Oh, it's a 47-11 day. 47. It was 11. It was an 11.
Oh, okay. So that's a powerful number, right?
The 31st. Yeah, it's a master number.
Okay.
It's a master number. Yeah.
Okay. So what about this 8-8-9? Is that anything?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Actually, we have the 8-8 portal happening. And then the next day we have a full moon in Aquarius with the sun in Leo. The sun is the ruler of Leo, so it's always
Ooh.
powerful. And let's see. So the
So what
8-8
can we do, or what will we experience with that energy or whatever?
well, let's see. It's 8-8 is 16 and 9 is 25. So the base number is a 7 of that if you add that whole date up, and 7 is know thyself.
Okay.
And it's located on the tree of life in the oops, sorry. In the yellow circle. I got to do it this way.
Oh, okay. What is that?
That's the tree of life.
Oh, okay.
That's the other thing I work with.
Oh, cool. Oh, I want to know more about that. We'll have to do a whole show on that. That looks amazing.
Well, I do teach that. I do
Okay.
teach that. And I am going to have a class starting in September. Just like an introduction sort of so
Okay.
people, because it's like astrology in a way. You have to learn a language.
Okay.
There's certain things you have to like get the basics down before you can actually talk
Wow.
it. But yeah,
Okay.
it's fascinating.
Yeah. And so where can people we'll put your website, and I mean, check out your class. Where can they do that?
So my website is called the seeds of transformation.com.
Okay.
The seeds of transformation.com. And my channel is my name. It's Victoria Scerbo, Scerbo. But I'll just send it to you and you can put it below.
So the class is on Zoom?
I do, yes. It's Zoom. It's a 6-week class.
Oh.
And I do it like 6 consecutive same day. I think it's going to
Oh,
be Thursdays.
okay.
And I try to do my classes because I'm on the East Coast, 7 to 9.
Okay.
So that it's a little late to be done at 9 for me because then I go to sleep right away, right after that,
Yeah, yeah.
snoring away. But if people have to come from California, at least it's not too early for you guys. And I do record them all, so even if you can't make them, you get them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting from you is like and this is what I was talking about today in that live healing video that I did, and I was reading people. What I'm getting from you is like creating your own energy, creating your own space. And like, why are we thinking about this and talking about this so much? Because there, it's like, why don't we create? And I'm a big believer of that, create what we want and be in this age of Aquarius and bring in this new energy. So how
Right.
can we start to do that besides, well, we can do that by talking about that, thinking about that. But would you
You can
elaborate on that?
Well, you could, use creative visualization, right?
Okay.
Like you know how they have do the board and put all the things that you want. It depends on how you best function, right? Like if you're somebody who's a visual, you might want to see a picture of it, right? Or you could even do your own like meditation with it, like record your own voice and see yourself in a place and then always, because I'm an ordained witch. That was 1993. That was a 1993 thing.
Witches in
Yeah.
Massachusetts. No.
Huh?
Why are all the witches in Massachusetts?
Well, that's a good question. Like Massachusetts is, I think, because there's, quite frankly, and there's a lot in California as well. I think it's because we're educated.
Okay.
There's a high level of education, and when you have a high level of education, you're open, you're not afraid and you're not listening to the mega church pastor telling you that you have to give him money so he can have a bigger house,
Yeah.
and you can barely make, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
so I don't know, but anyway, so I lost my train of thought, so you'll have to, if you can bring me back, but um
It's Gemini retrograde energy.
Mercury's retrograde.
Hasn't this
We
been?
were supposed to do this yesterday, and I totally like
You've got a
zoomed in.
big purple orb above your head, like a goddess energy. That's what I'm getting with you. Omega, the moon goddess.
Ooh,
Do you feel connected? Oh, you're Cancer. You are connected to the moon.
yes,
So
I
the other
am.
day I was meditating, and Omega, the moon goddess, she's also connected to wolves, because I always like wolf was my animal totem. I see big wolves around me and stuff. But she came to me and said, because I remember past lives in Sumerian and Babylonian times, and she was from around that time, and that purple, and it just lit up right above your head, this big purple orb. And that's usually when people are connecting to spirit or connecting to there's something really coming through. And so I feel like that's another way that we can connect with this new energy, this Aquarius energy, this new age where we are, bringing power to the people. Because I believe we really can do this.
Yeah,
I think we're
absolutely.
very powerful and we can do this. And we're
Absolutely. And
seeing all this crap because before it was happening before, but we couldn't see it. All that F stuff or whatever that happened in the 80s and the 90s, and
that's
we didn't
been
even
that's
know it was happening.
we've been literally eating our children for millennia. So not thinking about a future, not thinking about um they say you have to think in 7 generations ahead. I mean, this group can't think of 7 minutes ahead. So
Yeah,
we'll be okay. We're gonna be okay. I do believe that.
I do too. I believe we're going to a really good place, and this is a great time for growth. I mean,
And
to me, I've been digging in my garden and walking in the hills and having awakening moments and aha moments and connecting with people. And really, it's easy to be grateful when everything is wonderful. But when things are like this, to find moments of gratitude and peace and harmony and alignment, it's really powerful and it's really a
yes,
gift
and
that
it's the
we give
thing that's
ourselves.
it's gonna be the thing that gets you through this.
What?
So when you see everything falling apart and you're getting all upset, just count your blessings
Okay,
because gratitude is the key to the kingdom,
okay,
right? So be grateful for what you do have. Things are going to fall away, but there's no reason we can't recreate them better because we know better. And if we know better, we have to do better,
yeah,
and things will be better.
yeah. And so there are good energies coming in to support us, because the fact that we're seeing all this now, I think it's actually, even though it's difficult, I think it's a good thing. I
I
really do
agree.
believe that most people want peace. They believe there's enough for everybody. The sharing, that's the Aquarius energy of sharing and group consciousness and unconditional love, right?
Right.
And that's where we come back to the love you talked about, the heart centered and love. And I also believe the more we do that in our life for ourselves, that we're radiating out this energy. I feel like it has something to do with that tree of life thing you're talking about. That the more we radiate in that compassion and that love, and connect with maybe shows like this, where we're talking about the truth, but talking about what we want to create and the energy we want to bring in, rather
Right.
than they're doing this, they're doing that. When are they? Because in this new energy, in this world that I'm dreaming, that we're dreaming collectively together, that we're calling in, it isn't a place where that energy can be. It will just, you know, far.
We know that, that I think the difference now is we know we have a choice.
Okay,
So let's take it. Let's take it. Let's choose something better. Let's visualize something better. Let every day take a step in that direction. And it doesn't matter what the orange menace is saying. It doesn't, right? I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
listen.
a lot of the stuff he's saying is going to be undone anyway.
Right. Well, all the good things that Biden did, he's undone all of them. So when he gets out, we'll be like, all right, we ain't going back and forth. We ain't doing this again. Let's really come together. And I think that Kamala going out there and talking to the people. She wants to go and talk to people. She's having a book, her book is coming out and she's going to be
Okay,
doing, right? 107 days. That's the name of her book, 107 days.
what is that numerology?
It
100.
would be an 8, right?
Okay,
107 is
prosperity.
actually 107 is a 17-8, which is Aquarius and the star card, right?
Okay,
The star card. And
okay.
the key to the star card is meditation. So it behooves us to spend a little time every day in meditation. And
Oh,
you don't have to sit there in the lotus position, just close your eyes and breathe, right? If we stop breathing, we're dead. So close your eyes and breathe in and out, go with the flow, connect that flow to the flow in the world. Find that peace because we can't have peace on the outside without peace on the inside. As
right.
above, so below, as within, so without, right?
I love that. And I love somebody who knows numbers, because I got so many questions to ask. We've been on for over an hour now, but is there anything else you want to say before we close about this energy and
I just want to say we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And do your best not to get upset. I mean, there's plenty of things to get upset about. But if you have to pull away, you don't have to feel every feeling. You don't have to feel every pain because you can get addicted to pain.
mm,
If we see if people, I get stuck in it sometimes too. I'm doom scrolling. I'm like, oh, this and this and this. But that's their reality. That's not the world I want to see. So
okay.
why am I bought? Because your attention is what they want. And so you take it away from, I grew up, I know about narcissists because I've had them in my life. The worst thing you can do to a narcissist is ignore them because
Oh,
they lose their power. So ignore them and do what
what if
you
we
have
all
to
stopped
do.
watching him?
Huh?
What if we all stopped watching him? The latest.
If we had stopped watching him, he'd probably be gone by now. you know, he's getting the energy from us, right?
Oh, yeah, he's kind of feeding off all the misery, and we're sitting there going, oh, when you're doing that, your energy is just like going out like that. And he's probably just going, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to say a narcissist loves to be loved, but they'll they don't they'll be hated too. This same energy for them. They don't care. They'd rather be loved, but I think they'll take some hate if it's going to feed them. They're like vampires.
Yeah. And it's also really bad for us and sound vibrationally wise and all that to hear all that stuff. It just like puts us on like a roller coaster ride because you
Right.
can bet that it's going to be the next worst thing. And it's just like, boom, it's like being dunked at the fair. Boom, boom, boom,
There you go. There's your
boom.
dream.
It says we're just being chronically traumatized, like, whoa, 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 like, and exhausted, and then yeah, and there's an illusion that he has this power over us, but I think a lot of the stuff is going to be undone as soon as we
It's a
get
farce.
done.
I'm telling you, it's a farce. This guy sells sneakers. Come on, people. Come on, people. Yeah, you're gonna get my jersey up
Like
now.
the way you said that, and then she's right. Oh my god. Selling shoes. The president's selling shoes, sneakers.
Gold lame sneaker. I mean, not even nice sneakers. You say, well, at least, they're orthopedic, they help your knees. No, no, gold sneakers.
Yeah, it is. You couldn't make this stuff up in an episode of South Park or something, which I don't watch.
Well,
Sneakers.
South Park might be the end of him, right? So that's good.
Well, it
Between
takes.
between the EpiPen and South Park.
And sometimes I do that. I just start laughing because it's just like so ridiculous. I mean, it's just like.
Your dog is having a great time behind you. He's just rolling on his back. That's so cute.
We have so much fun. We're having so much fun in that we're going for our walks and we're having we sing little songs, and he has all his little ball at night. He has his treat and then his ball. We go for a walk in the morning. He knows nothing about any of this stuff.
I think I should follow the lead of our animals. They
Mhm.
don't care about the orange menace. They just want their belly rubbed.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
And also learn to laugh at it because it's just so when you said he's selling sneakers, I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
the president of the United States is selling sneakers.
Merch. He's selling merch.
Selling merch. Oh God. Well, it's always good to have a good laugh and keep our humor. And I love that what we put our attention on. And if we put our attention, take it off him and probably shrivel up and melt like the Wicked Witch and the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Throw a little water on him. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been super fun and cool. Let's do it again.
Okay.
And I'll put your info on my community page. Text it to me.
Okay.
Dr. Vicky, this has been amazing. And thank you, everybody. Please subscribe to both of our shows. It really helps us put out the algorithms. Leave your comments and questions. If you think you have ideas about future energies or future shows or something, that would be cool. And check out her class. Sounds amazing. And we will see you next
The
time.
next time.
What? When?
I said the next time, just when you said it.
Okay. Love. Sending you love. Okay. Bye for now.